Hey everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. Today, I'll tell you about a trip I took to National Harbor, Maryland, and tell you everything you need to know about the city. Never heard of it? Me either. Most people have no idea where it is. It's a new city that's only 10 miles from Washington, D.C., and of course, it's nowhere near as famous as D.C. is. But it's got a big conference center and resort there, plus a brand new casino, so more and more people are taking a trip to National Harbor every day. So when I was planning my travel, I had the usual DC options to choose from. Reagan Airport about 15 minutes away, Dulles Airport 30 minutes away, BWI an hour away, or Union Station for buses and trains about 20 minutes away. But I quickly found out that National Harbor doesn't make it easy to get there. There aren't any DC metro stops nearby, so taking the train's out of the question. You have to fight through DC traffic to get there, so it's super slow to drive there. And even though it's a small place miles from downtown DC, there isn't any free parking at all. Big letdown. So getting there is already a bit of a downer, but on the plus side, since it's only a few square blocks, you can pretty much get a hotel or apartment anywhere in National Harbor, and you're going to be pretty close to where the action is. So, of course, as soon as I get there, I started walking around and exploring. And as I said, it's a really small place, so you can walk around the whole city in about 30 or 40 minutes, and just about everything you want to see is either on Fleet Street, Waterfront Street, National Plaza, or American Way. Pretty much the first thing I noticed was that National Harbor loves statues. They seem to cram them just about anywhere they can. You'll see Marilyn Monroe, Louis Armstrong, Rosie the Riveter, Henry Ford, a bunch of past presidents, and a whole lot more statues. Especially on American Way that I mentioned earlier, it's crawling with statues. They have them everywhere there. They aren't bad, and at least you'll get some photo ops out of it. But the coolest statue in National Harbor is definitely the Awakening statue down by the water. It looks like a big giant crawling out of the sand, about to break free and go wild in National Harbor. It's really cool. I definitely recommend checking that one out. Another of my favorite things to do is to just walk down by the water. I mean, what's the use of going to a waterfront place if you're not going to enjoy the water, right? If you go down and walk along the piers, you get a pretty good view across the Potomac River to Virginia. Or, even better, there's a nice little waterfront path that takes you down a little bit outside National Harbor if you just want to sit and hang out by the water. When I was planning my trip, it seemed like the biggest tourist attraction in National Harbor was the Capitol Wheel. Everywhere I looked seemed to have a picture of it somewhere. It's a 180-foot tall Ferris wheel that's out on one of the piers, and they market it as having a great view of DC. But in reality, it was a pretty big letdown. Okay, sure, you get a good view of National Harbor and the river, but I mean, let's be honest, those aren't all that interesting. You can kinda, sorta see Alexandria, Virginia across the river, but if you're hoping to see DC, you're gonna be pretty let down. The DC landmarks are about 9 miles away, so if you're lucky you can see them way off in the distance, but if the visibility isn't good, you're gonna be completely out of luck. I got a way better view just by watching the nighttime light show on the Capitol Wheel. Definitely better than actually riding it, and plus, even better, it's completely free. If you're there for a conference, chances are it's happening at the Gaylord National Resort and Convention Center. You can't miss it, by far the biggest building in National Harbor, and it seems like it's nearly as big as the rest of the city. Even if you aren't staying there, I say take a walk through the massive 19-story glass atrium they have. It's pretty neat. It's like you're walking through a giant indoor garden filled with a bunch of small stores and restaurants. While I was in National Harbor, I had to make a stop at the newest attraction, the MGM National Harbor Casino. It's not in the main part of National Harbor, so you'll need to drive about 5 minutes to get there, but if you like casinos, it's worth a stop. It's got everything you'd expect a casino to have: a gambling area, shops, trendy restaurants, a hotel, a spa, a theater, all that stuff. I'm glad I stopped by, since it was definitely more exciting than downtown National Harbor, which can be a little slow at times. So I'm in Maryland, so you better believe I'm having some Maryland blue crab. I don't remember a single restaurant in National Harbor that didn't have some sort of crab on the menu, so there were plenty of options and plenty of styles to choose from, but I went with the crab cake sandwich. Always tasty, always a good choice. I'm glad I had some. So that was my trip to National Harbor. Would I recommend it? Well, that depends. If you're there for a few days on business or a convention or going to the casino, you're probably going to have a good time. But if you're there for more than a few days, you'll get pretty bored. There just isn't a whole lot to do there. If you're going there because you want to see DC, then definitely skip it. You aren't close to DC, it isn't easy to get to DC from there, and you're just going to be disappointed. You'll have a way better time just getting a hotel in DC, or if you want another small waterfront area, just go to Alexandria or Georgetown instead. In my opinion, they're way better options than National Harbor. Plus, just about everything in National Harbor, the hotels, food, stores, everything, was just a little bit overpriced and not nearly as good as other places around. Just not worth it for me. That's it for this National Harbor City Guide. I tried to cover all the best things I did and give you my first-hand travel experience. I hope you liked it, and if you're planning a trip to National Harbor, I hope this helps you. If it did, make sure to click the subscribe button down below, like the video, leave a comment, ask a question, share it with your friends. It's all free to do, and I like it when you do that stuff. On Instagram, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting. On Twitter, I'm Firsthand Globe. Follow me on there to see where I'm traveling to next. And remember, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some first-hand globetrotting of your own.